Okay. Let's see if this one works. What a disaster. Oh, there's sound now. Okay. I'll just post the new link. Right. Okay. Ah, I think it's because Google's really playing up today. Right. For some reason it's not showing up on my computer. All right. Sorry about that. Had to get to my other computer. Don't know what's going on with that computer. Anyway, all right, back to the drawing board. So welcome. A few announcements first. Next week I'll be speaking on Saturday because I'm moving house on Sunday. And what else? I'm doing a talk in Brighton on the 25th of March. And I'm doing a talk in Manchester on the, hey, on the, I don't remember when. Anyway, you can see it on my website. Anyway, it's Lennon nonduality.com. And some other things. I do give private Skype calls. And you can contact me on my website for that. I do charge for those though. And hi Ella, happy birthday. And I do accept donations. I do get the occasional donation, which is I'm very grateful for. And I actually have a question by somebody about that. So I'm going to get that on my computer, because that's on my other computer, unless it's on here. No, I don't think my notes share from computer to computer. No. My computers aren't that clever. It's a good question, though. I'm going to see if I can get it on my computer. The one that's not working. My really expensive computer is the one that's not working. This is my old computer, but I think it's worth it. So I'm going to start with that. Oh my God, it's really bright, isn't it? Let's see what I can do about that. All right. Well, I suppose I give an introduction first. All right, I'll do that first. So, sorry, getting myself rearranged because of the disruption. Getting my tea, my footstool. Right, okay. Still not comfortable. Sorry. Right, get a cushion. There we go. That's better. So, this is really more simple than any mind can ever think of, than any me can ever imagine. This is simply what is. This is simply just what is happening. It can't be found. It can't even be looked for, because looking for it is still just what's happening. This sense of me this apparent reality, which is like a bubble that's over, it's like a living in this reality bubble that thinks it's a me, is just what's happening. And it can only look within its reality, its apparent reality spectrum of me, which is always from the sense of separation. And the sense of separation is something that appears in time, in this illusion of time, which is the me. The me is time. It creates time. It sees one event after another and then thinks that it's that's real, that there is time, and that it can exist in all these pasts and futures, that it exists in the past and it can exist in the future, and therefore it looks for completion in this illusion of the future. And there's always that possibility that that bubble, like a space helmet, can just pop or just disappear or whatever. When that apparent reality bubble is popped, there's no all that's left is what is. That sense of being somebody just goes, and that's not something which is special. The seeker thinks that that's something special, and that it will happen to it, and it will know this its own absence, and it won't, because its absence, it's just its absence. It can't know its own absence. And it's like a kind of it's just really obvious. When that sense of me is not there, it's just really obvious that it's just what is. And in non-duality, it's always spoken about like this just what is. So the person looks for what is, when really it's just right under its nose. It's just literally what is. So there's like two apparent realities. One that's looks from the sense of self, from sense of being something here and looking towards something like this. And then it's just what's happening. And the sense of me comes up with all the different convoluted questions about what this could be. It tries to imagine it. You can't imagine what this is, because then this is imagining it. It's like trying to imagine your hand. Here's my hand, which is clearly here. Yes, Keel. He says, even the looking for what is what is. Yeah. It's like, here's my hand, and now I have to imagine that I have to know what the hand is. That's the seeker. It seeks to know what the obvious is. You can't imagine what this is in that sense of time, because it just collapses all the time, doesn't it? It just collapses. And what is appearing just is appearing. It's literally just the Big Bang all the time, without there being any time. Just appearing out of nothing. We think it's appearing out of time, or it's appearing from the last moment, or yesterday, or millions of years ago, but it's not. It's just appearing, just boom. Can't get hold of that. When there's no sense of self, there's no need to get hold of it. It just is very clear that it just is. Just is. And it's amazing. But it's not amazing for the sense of self. The sense of self will never grasp that. Nothing here grasps that. Nothing here is amazed. It's just amazing. There's nothing here that is absent of the sense of self. It's just there isn't a me anywhere. It just never was a person. It never was. This body was never a person. So it's not that there's a person here that lacks a sense of self. There's just no self. There's just life happening. The bodies are then just the bodies and their lives and everything that happens around them. But there's nobody in that. But that can't be understood or imagined because, well, first of all, it's pointless. And that one that tries to understand it is just, it's just not what it thinks it is. But this reality bubble that most humans seem to have on their head is so complete. It's like an hermetically sealed reality which can't see anything but within that matrix of its reality. And when that's not there, it's just seen that it was just literally a dream. The bubble bursts. The whole construct of this fake apparent reality is just no longer a reality. And all that's left is this, simply this. So I was saying earlier on the silent movie, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Well, there's nobody that thinks they're anything. There's no thinking that there is anything. Who do you think you are? There is no who. There's no who. That's the apparent reality of the me. There's only a who exists in that reality. Anyway, in the silent movie, the failed attempts, I was saying that I do accept donations, and I'm very grateful for the donations I get, which are very few, but that's okay. And I do private Skype calls, and I've got a couple of talks coming out, and you can see those on my website, which is lisanonduality.com. And my book is almost finished. I now have a foreword by Paul Morgan Summers, which is really nice. Oh, that's Joe. He's a little mad. Aren't we all? And yeah, so that's that. And I was going to read this question because I think this is a really good question. I did answer it, and he did put it on YouTube. That is really right. He did put it on YouTube, and I'm sure he won't mind me reading it out because he did make it public. So he says, not being a wise guy, but if this life is complete, just an appearance, and everything you're looking for is already here, why do you need to accept donations? Or why do I need to clean my teeth or brush my hair? It's really annoying me tonight. In the story, so that I can pay my bills, to maintain the illusion. To maintain the illusion. Accepting donations is not maintaining an illusion. There isn't anybody to maintain an illusion. The me is the illusion. That I am a person living in time and space, and that I can find the answer to everything is the illusion. Not paying bills and speaking about non-duality. That's just what apparently happens. Really? That's the next question. Really? To maintain the illusion? Really? Well, just answered that. Nothing exists, right? Well, it's more beyond nothing exists. It's just what's happening. You can't say that it exists or it doesn't exist. It's so beyond. It's so beyond those concepts. Man cannot live on bread alone. No, not really. I do need the internet. Just thinking, there was life before internet, right? Nothing exists, right? Well, it's beyond that, isn't it? This is, but it can't be said what this is because it isn't. There's no real permanent state to it. It's just, it's like a sea of form and color which constantly changes, and there's nobody in that, except for when there appears to be an apparent me in that. And you can't say that these words aren't being heard, but you can't hold on to them. You can't hold on to the sound. They're gone before anyone can get hold of that sound. They're just poof, just gone. Everything's just falling away and appearing simultaneously. So you can't say it doesn't exist. You can't say what it is, and that's the mind. You see, the mind tries to get a hold of what is, and it can't. It tries to find an answer to it, a resolution, a completion. Finally, I have the answer. It's worse than that. There's no answer, and there's no one to get an answer. There's no answer. This is living. This is life without an answer. Then why speak then? Isn't it a waste of energy and pointless? Yeah. Not a waste of energy though. It is pointless because non-duality is not a cure for the human condition. Human condition is the human condition. Non-duality is not a cure. What is spoken about is so amazing. And when others speak about it as well, and you know, I speak to people about it a lot, and it's amazing. It's amazing, and they find it amazing. You can't really say what that amazing is. It's just amazing that there is this. Are there two worlds? No, because you'd have to imagine another world then. Keeps us guessing. When there's no us appearing, then there's no guessing. It's so beyond anything that can be known. It's just there are two worlds. Well, is there any world? Is there any world at all? There's the world that appears in the newspapers and on the telly and the internet. But is that the world? There's only what's happening. It's just really simple. It's too simple. It's way too simple and way too free for any appearance of a confined sense of self to even possibly register. The relative world and the absolute world. That's just what's happening. The relative world and the absolute. Well, we call the relative world the world of things, don't we? The world of things in space with more things. That's relative because it's in relation to each other. But it's the same energy. You can't have one thing without another. You can't have a room without space. You can't. These things that are in the room are simultaneously appearing. If so, doesn't that destroy non-duality? Non-duality is not a thing. Non-duality is not an it. Non-duality is not a subject. It just basically points to that there is not two. There is not a me and the rest of the world. There is just what's happening. There is no it. And this is the thing that the sense of self can't understand, that there is no it. I haven't got it yet, I hear a lot. Got what? There's no it to get. It's already got. Everything is already got. There's just the appearance that it needs to be got. If so, doesn't that destroy non-duality? Does that destroy non-duality? It's just, there isn't non-duality. There's no non-duality. There's only what is, what's happening. Non-duality is just a label. It's meaningless. If not, why care about this illusion at all? Well, caring happens. Try not caring. Try caring. Try not caring. Why make videos that don't even exist? Why make videos that don't even exist? These are just concepts, you see. To say the video doesn't exist is well, that's just the imagination. Saying I'm watching a video but it doesn't exist. Doesn't it? Is it not just happening? You can't say what it is. It exists. It doesn't either exist and it doesn't either not exist. It's just what's happening. Clearly what's happening. Can't get hold of that. Are you talking to things that aren't there and couldn't hear you because neither you or they exist? These are more concepts. Talking to things that aren't there. Well, there's just talking happening. There's nobody talking. There's nobody watching. There's nobody listening. Listening is happening. Speaking is happening. Light is happening. Cups of tea that need drinking are happening. It's way more simple. These concepts are they're just imaginations. They're fantasies of something that is other than what is. It's a fantasy to think that what is happening doesn't exist. It's just a concept. It's just an illusion. Are you talking things that aren't there and couldn't hear you because neither you or they exist. Oh, I think I've answered that. Serious questions here, not veiled sarcasm. Yeah, I hear that, and I really appreciate those questions because they're really great questions. That's what happens. The sense of self is always going into concepts about what is. Is it this? Is it that? Does it exist? Doesn't it exist? These are all seeking questions, seeking in what is for an answer for it. And the freedom is the no answer. The freedom is the unanswer, the unknowing, the nobody to know. There isn't anyone. There is nobody. But there appears, as an appearance, that there is somebody. The person feels like they are real. They really feel they're real. And look for an answer to it. And there's also the sense that that's not real. Somehow it's sensed that it's not real. It's not the person sensing it's not real. It's just a sense happening. It's not to deny that there is no appearance of a sense of self. I remember the sense of self and believing that I was a real person who had to find something, had to find the answer, the truth. There is no truth. It's the unfinding. It's the freedom from finding. Okay, so that's my intro. If you want to ask questions, please do so in the live chat. I'm not doing Skype because I really enjoy the flow of succinct questions. That's what really I've found out over time that that's what I enjoy more. And yeah, and other things. But that's what I enjoy more. Yeah. Hi, Mary. No questions tonight. It's good. That's a good good sign. Yeah, so there's no reason to speak about it. There's no reason to speak. There's no reason for anything. There's no reason for flowers to bloom. There's no reason for birds to fly. There's no reason for humans doing what humans do. There's no outcome to it. There's no end to it. There's never going to be an end to anything because there's no beginning to anything. Life did not start with somebody being born. What is seeking? What is seeking is looking for an answer. Seeking is looking for an answer. I am looking for an answer. I am looking for the end of me. I am looking for a better job. I am looking for God or truth. I'm looking for an end to my pain. I'm looking for life to be perfect, and when I'm free, life will be perfect. I won't need money, or everything will come to me. I'll be perfect. All these fantasies of what completion is. You know, and as humans, we look for a better life, and we think the completion is in the better life, in the house or the relationship, or whatever it is that the human seeks for. That's seeking. It's just looking for something. Literally what it means, seeking. Dinosaurus Rex. Is a reconditioning necessary to see what is? Oftentimes I hear seekers say stuff like that. A reconditioning, no. No, a reconditioning is just a reconditioning. Like Lisa could recondition her body to be more flexible, or her mind to be more sharper, you know, by doing quizzes and puzzles and things. I think you're probably meaning the reconditioning of the emotions and of the thought patterns. But no, because there's nobody having those thought patterns and those conditionings. There's nobody having the conditionings. There's nothing wrong with changing the conditioning. You know, that's what we do as humans, don't we? We tend to improve our lives somehow. We go towards what feels better. That's just the way it is. You know, like an animal will prefer to drink fresh water than I was going to say toilet water, but they do like toilet water. Then you know, salty water or vinegar. You know, that's just the way it happens. And to change the conditioning has nothing to do with what's been spoken of here. The conditioning is just the conditioning. What is being looked for in these sorts of talks and non-duality is already what is. It's already what is. It can't be. Reconditioning is not going to change what is, because the reconditioning is what is. GML. Liberated speakers often say the word energetically. What does that mean, energetically? Energetically, I don't know. Energetically. I suppose, like, if someone came in the room and they were in a mood, I could feel it energetically. That's the only thing I can think of. But that would just be what's happening. It doesn't mean anything. Everything that appears is it. Everything that appears is what is. That's the freedom. Joe blogs like a slinky. V, what? Hi, Lisa. Hi, V. What does it take to actually live this? Well, it's already being lived. I'll answer that quickly. First, it's actually everything. Everything that is it. And even as if there's a sense of me, that is it appearing as a sense of me, living it. But there isn't anybody living this. You can't live this. It's already being lived. It is everything appearing for no reason, or no apparent reason. For most people, what you describe is not how people see the world. So what the F is needed to see and live this? Yeah, yeah. Well, nothing's needed, because what is being overlooked is the obvious, which is what is already everything. It's already being lived. It's already appearing as everything. It doesn't actually need to be lived. It's like me looking at the computer and saying, I need to look at the computer. The computer's already appeared. What appears after it is the thought or the feeling, now I need to find the computer. I need to know what the computer is. So what's happening is there is everything appearing, this, and then the thought, how do I live this? Well, it's already being lived. Joe, what you're looking for, you've already got. Yeah, except for you haven't got it. Don't mean you personally, Joe. I mean it hasn't been got. It's just already got. It's just already got. Because it can't be anything else. What is happening can't be any other way. Mary, in this meing and being, regularly, daily life is becoming more and more out of control, and there is a strong fear of not being able to carry on. Yeah, it might feel like that for a while, because it's quite a strong thing, isn't it, meing and being? It really puts you out of kilter. Yeah, but that should just pass, really, you know, because nothing ever lasts, does it? I remember ringing Tony, and this kind of play of being and being was happening really rapidly. It was like almost every 5 minutes. It felt like I was a total lunatic. And I'd ring Tony, and I was like, "Oh my God, Tony, it's just too crazy." And he said, "Don't worry, it'll pass." And I was like, "But what if it's like this forever?" And he was just being very sweet. But it'll pass. It'll pass. It might just take a while. It's just what's happening. And even the being will it'll just be what's happening, and then that'll just fall away. And falling away will be what's happening. It's so simple. So beautifully simple. Let's go back to GML's question, energetically. Trying to fathom out what he means. I mean, it's often described that this is energy. So maybe that's what you mean. I don't know. I can't really say what this is. You can't say what this is and where it appears from. It's just, and the mind like tries to put that in time. Well, it's not. It's just the next moment. Is it? Is it the next moment? Or has boom? It's just everything. It's always a surprise. And then next minute, it's just making dinner and having a cup of tea. And then it's just really normal. And then there's that registering, and it's a surprise. Lunatics have taken over the asylum. Yeah. I was talking with my friends. I think it was Steve. We were saying something. We were saying you can never talk about this in public. Or was it Will? I don't remember. But you can't talk about this in public. I think you're crazy. Wonderfully crazy. Freedom is absolute insanity, but it's not for anyone. In fact, to the me, what this would appear as is utter insanity. Except for there's no longer anyone to be insane. But it would appear, I can see that it can appear as utter insanity, because there's nothing to get hold of. There's suddenly no path in life. There's nothing left for anybody. There's nobody left. The logical steps of life have suddenly gone. Terrifying for me. And I think that's why when that sense of me is, that bubble is being burst, I like that analogy. I imagine like one of those glass space helmets, you know, in the old sci-fi movies. Once that, because it's see-through, and I like that. It's like a see-through reality. I completely forgot what I was saying. Anyway. Yeah, path. There's no longer a path. There's no logical step to anything. The body, the character just does what it does. It books flights and packs boxes and organizes stuff. But that was always going on anyway. There was a sense of self that thought it was packing boxes and it was booking flights and doing stuff, and everything was affecting it. And it had to find a way out of being affected by everything. It's a baby screaming its head off next door. No sense of self in the baby. That's nothing crying. That's nothing screaming. Joe, Eckhart said, which Eckhart? Eckhart said, the world is collective mental illness. I don't know about a world. It's just this story of humanity. That's the world. I call the world the story of humanity. And it seems like it's mentally ill. But that's when it's only looked at from all the bad that happens in the world. There's a lot more appearing than the craziness of the world. The world ends when you go to sleep. The world ends when there's no sense of self. There's suddenly no world. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Caring still happens, but that's just the human nature. Human nature is often caring, more often than not. The me energy isn't anyone's, is it? It's just what's appearing. Like someone with a nasty energy, let's say, it isn't anyone. It's just icky energy appearing, not personal. Yeah. The me energy is literally the me energy. It's not actually a person. But the human will still react to someone's, bad energy. If you shout at a dog, it'll recoil, but there's no person in that. It's just the natural reaction. But it isn't anyone's reaction. I mean, the me energy, which appears, can make the person can be really sticky, but it isn't a person. It's just the human operating from within that illusory self. And the nasty me's often have a very strong sense of me, but not always. It's just a sense of me. It's not an actual person. There are no persons. It's just life. just life appearing as bodies and cars and streets and sky. Amazing. No, nothing's personal. Nothing's personal. It's just it can appear as being taken personally. Aiden, hello, just hello. Hello back, Aiden. Hope you're well. The me energy is just it's more of a reality. I guess you could call it an energy, but it's more like it's like a kind of a matrix, like the matrix, living in that apparent reality. Because that apparent reality can collapse any moment. It's not real, it's not, it collapses every night when you go to sleep. Temporarily. That's the beauty of sleep. We get a rest from it. Hi, Raphael. You always have such nice comments. Song comments. I like that because I like to, I love the analogy of this being a symphony. But to the sense of self, that me feels like a me. That's the reality. That's the reality of it, the apparent reality. It really feels true. And then when it's not there, it's seen that it really wasn't true. Oh yes, energy is always changing and shifting, but the me is the ownership of that energy. That's a question, but the me is the ownership of that energy. Well, it just claims it. Because the sense of me always feels like it's apart from everything, so everything happens to it. So it feels like it owns things. It feels like it owns everything. It claims everything as happening to it. My life, my pain, my house, my children, my partner, what I want. But even that's always changing and shifting, but it's always seen from this one little pinhole called me. My dog. Yeah, my dog, yeah. I mean, in normal terms, we say these words, my dog, my car, my things, because that's just the way language is. But to the me, it really feels like it's my dog. But this bubble of reality that the me is, apparent reality, I have to clarify that. It's so, to it feels like so solid, so real, so solid. It's absolutely the reality. But it's actually so gossamer thin, it's so transparent that when it seems to drop away, it's seen that it never had any real substance to it. It was never solid. Because people think that that when there's no me, it's going to be a huge thing happens, I'm going to really know it. It's going to be huge, and I'm going to have it for me. It's not like that at all. I mean, the reaction in the body can be quite strong, and there can be apparent effects, but they don't mean anything. They're just irrelevant. But there's nothing in it for the me. But it is so thin, this veil of me. But it feels like to it that it has to climb the highest mountain. That something has to happen in order for it to fall away. That maybe if I do this and maybe if I do that, I will get it. I'll see it. I'll find it. I'll understand what this is. I'll be free. I'll be free. What happens is there's nobody that's free. There's no sense of freedom for anybody. There's nothing here that feels free. There are some apparent effects of not coming from a perspective of me, but so what? I've met some very happy me's. Oh, thank you, Raphael. Because I just love the way you speak about this beautiful subject. It is really beautiful. It's so stunning. That this just appears at all. That this just appears at all is so stunning. I mean, what the hell? I mean, what the hell? It's just amazing. Does the word eternal mean anything to you? In a sense, not in the sense of infinite, as in space and time. I do love the word eternal though. I try to not use it too much because it makes it sound like something special. But eternal, this, yes, this, what is eternal. It's not like in the sense it's forever, because there is no forever. It's eternally this. Has there ever been anything else? Has there ever been anything else? Forever sounds like awful. It's not forever. It's more. It's really more than that. It's eternal. Forever makes it sound like they lived happily forever afterwards or something. There's no happily ever after. This is it. There's no after. There was never an after. There was never a before, and there was never an after. It's so utterly sublime, eternal, ineffable. People use the word omnipresent, but I can't even find omnipresent. It's just beyond all these words. Sacred. Don't know about sacred, because that means that something would be sacred or something then would be not sacred, as there's nothing that's not sacred. Either everything's sacred or nothing is sacred. Either everything's special or nothing is special. Either everything is liberated or nothing is liberated. It's the irony. It's the irony. Everything is liberated. The me thinks I'm not liberated. It's all really liberation appearing as me, as a me. It's like if life was a person. I'm trying to be very careful with this analogy. It's just an analogy. Get all the comments. If life was a person, it's like it would say, I'm going to have a go at not being eternal life. I'm going to have a go at being finite life. It's a bit like that. But life is just appearing as that. It's not for itself. I remember I used to say it knows itself. That was a kind of a, that was like a something that was felt, but that seems to be gone now. Laughing. Liberal. Yeah, there's no word to describe what is. What is or this is the closest it comes, but it's really like not even. Yeah. But somehow, you know, we people go to non-duality talks and we talk together about non-duality, and we just somehow we love it or hate it. But you know, I speak with friends about it, you know, and Steve and I speak for hours. My God, and it's wonderful. We just love it. It's just so brilliant for no reason, just for its brilliance. I mean, this is really brilliance. I mean, what a genius thing. Brilliance. Explosion of brilliance. And yet totally ordinary. The sense of self cannot see it because it is so totally ordinary. It's looking for some sort of expansion or falling out into it or something else. Doesn't see that it's absolutely ordinary in its absolute brilliance. The intelligence, the brilliance of that, the even mere thing that there is, what is happening. Absolutely stunning. You know, people come to non-duality because that's somehow recognized or registered. Then the me gets hold of it. Here's the me again, jumping in, getting hold of everything. I need to register it. I need to know what it is. The registering is happening before the me even gets its claws into it. Steve, me thinks liberation is for it. Yes, it does. He's going to be very disappointed. Very close, soon. Yeah, it's in a waiting state, isn't it? It's always waiting for this amazing enlightenment. When I let go of my desires, let go of my sadness, my selfishness, my greed, when I do that, I will be free. Yeah, it goes into all those stories. When I do this, 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 and this. Joe, don't try to figure it out. Can't anyway. Let go of my sadness, my selfishness. Yeah, yeah, that's its story because it is a time, apparent time reality bubble. It really is like that really brilliant film, The Matrix, which I love that film. It lives in that reality and it can only operate within those set parameters in which it thinks are real. Time. It thinks time. It operates in the illusion of time. So it can only think in terms of when I've done this, when I've done that, when I'm not sad anymore, when I'm not greedy anymore, when I'm not selfish anymore. If I meditate enough, if I stop my thoughts, if I become a vegan, if I do all these things, stop drinking coffee, alcohol, it thinks I have to do all these things in order to be able to realize freedom. And it can't even not try to figure it out, because that's its functioning, that's its engine. It's like an engine. It can only do one thing. It can only try to figure it out. That's what it does. That's its bubble. The me engine. If I grease my engine a bit, if I maybe change some cogs, if I do this, this, and this, but it can't. That's its function. It's the way it is. A bit like, red can't stop being red. Sky can't stop being sky. It's just it's almost like a natural law. The me can only be the me until that bubble just bursts. Okay, I've got time for one more question. If anybody has one more question before I go and eat something. Such a beautiful subject. Just makes me want to go, woohoo! Do go on. Laughing. Yeah. Joe, relax. Relax. It is. Oh, Raphael, yeah. You can feel your celebration. It is, isn't it? Amazing, amazing. Such a celebration. And it's, everything that is like shouting. Shouting, this. It's like screaming at you. Here I am. This. It's only this. Here it is. It's like right under your nose, right in front of your eyes. It is everything. Everything. Steve, such a joke, this sense that all will be fixed in time. That's the dream of me. Yeah. It's the dream of me. The dream of time, the dream that I will be fixed. And when that's not there, it was just a dream. Just a dream. Like waking up from a dream and going, oh yeah, that was a dream. Carry on with the day. After a few wobbles. Raphael, thank you. Kiss. Oh, thank you, Raphael. And that question earlier about who are you talking to, nothing. But funnily, you know, this life is very wonderful and strange. Like, you know, even though there are just words on the screen, I can kind of feel through them, you know. I'm feeling Raphael's love, this beauty, love there, celebration. Oh, thank you, Keel. I love it too. I love it. And I love the interaction. You know, I love that. It's the response just comes, and like everything else, just appears for no reason, for nothing, for nobody. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. I really enjoy it, otherwise I'd just be sat here speaking at the computer. My own. I really love the interaction. I love the questions. And yeah, so next week I'm going to be here on Saturday, not Sunday, because I'm going to be moving house. I'm not moving to Spain yet. I'm going to move to my friend's house for a month and look after his dogs. And then at the end of that month I'll be going to Spain. Okay, one more question. B. You seem to imply that anyone can somehow just see this. Well, no. And thus be awakened to it and just live that apparently radical perspective. But even some of the most, I know there'll be a second part of that. I'll answer this first part. The second part is loading. Oh, it's gone. Message been retracted. Okay. No, I mean, no one. I'm saying that nobody can get this because that somebody is an apparent reality that can just collapse. And yes, of course, that can just collapse. Why not? Midweek? No, the week goes so quickly. The week just goes like that. And I'm really busy this week anyway because I have to pack up my whole house and then scrub it clean. Every bit of speck of dust has to go. Anyway, that is definitely it. And thank you for joining me. And I hope to see you next Saturday. Take care. Bye. Mwah.